That Lewis Hamilton just dropped a brutal internal message to Ferrari so raw and direct, it sent shockwaves through the garage just days before the Las Vegas Grand Prix. After his heartbreaking DNF in Brazil, Hamilton walked into the engineering briefing and said out loud what no one dared to. This is not good enough, and everyone here knows it. With 0 podiums in 2025 and only 3 races left, Ferrari's biggest signing of the decade is running out of time, and the Las Vegas night race could be his final shot at rewriting the story. If you still believe in Lewis Hamilton's fire, his legacy, and his mission to lead Ferrari back to the top, hit that subscribe button. Because what happens next will define his future. Lewis Hamilton walked out of Brazil without a single point, but that wasn't the worst part. It was the silence in the Ferrari garage after the DNF, the quiet nods, the blank stares. No explanations. No real answers. For the 7th time this season, Hamilton had done everything right, and the car let him down. Power loss. System shut down. No warning. It wasn't just another technical issue. It was the moment that cracked something deeper between Lewis and the team. He waited until Monday. Then he spoke. And everything changed. Inside Maranello, Hamilton sat in the briefing room not as a driver demanding fixes, but as a world champion demanding accountability. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't blame individuals. But the message was clear. This program is not working, and we all know it. According to internal sources, the tone shocked even team principal Frederic Vasseur, because Hamilton had reached his limit. Not with effort, not with Ferrari's history, but with excuses. The SF25 was supposed to be his new chapter. Instead, it's been a story of near misses and mechanical betrayal. But this wasn't a breakdown. It was a reset. Hamilton didn't walk out. He stayed. He reviewed every single telemetry file from Interlagos. He questioned energy deployment, brake bias drift, heat soak issues in the power unit, all of it. And then he did what no one expected. He requested a full simulation day focused only on Las Vegas. Not the championship, not damage control, just Vegas. Because if Ferrari wants to turn the season around, there's only one place left to do it under the lights, with the whole world watching. Hamilton knows what this weekend means. It's not about numbers anymore. It's about legacy. He's never finished a season without at least 1 podium. That record goes back to 2007. 18 seasons, a streak that defines consistency at the highest level. But now, with 3 races left, it hangs by a thread. And yet, instead of folding, Hamilton is pushing harder. His simulator laps are longer, his feedback sharper, his conversations with engineers more direct than ever. He's not chasing headlines. He's chasing closure. And here's the twist. Ferrari might finally be listening. For the first time this season, the setup direction in Vegas will be built entirely around Hamilton's preferences, not shared data. A new rear suspension calibration, a reworked floor profile, and an energy recovery strategy optimized for his braking style. This isn't just a race. It's a test. For the car. For the team. For Hamilton's belief that this move to Ferrari wasn't a mistake, but a mission that still has time to deliver. Ferrari arrived in Las Vegas not just with a revised car, but with a revised mindset. After months of compromise, internal back and forth, and setups split between 2 driver profiles, the team made a clear decision after Brazil: build the weekend around Lewis Hamilton. And that wasn't just a reaction to media pressure. It was the result of months of data showing that when Hamilton's feedback is followed without dilution, the SF25 becomes more consistent, more manageable, and above all, more raceable, especially in unstable track conditions like Vegas. The most significant changes began in the rear suspension geometry. In Brazil, the SF25 once again struggled with traction on medium-speed exits, a trait that has haunted Ferrari since the start of the hybrid era. Hamilton pushed hard to address this with new damping values, rebound rates, and softer rear-end behavior under throttle. The revised Vegas package includes not only a more progressive setup, but an entirely different differential mapping during corner exits aimed at smoothing out that first phase of power delivery. For a circuit like Las Vegas, where exits define overtaking, that's critical. Then came the aero balance. Hamilton's Vegas sim runs in Maranello showed that the SF25 was overly front-biased at high speed, making it unstable during lift and coast zones and braking under yaw. In response, Ferrari modified the floor edges and introduced a more neutral rear wing spec that reduces drag without compromising rear stability. This allows Hamilton to maintain a flatter car through Sector 2, exactly where he lost time last year, and approach the corners with more throttle confidence. It's a shift from fighting the car to trusting it, and that changes how aggressive he can be across a stint. Energy recovery was another major focus. Ferrari's ERS deployment strategy in earlier races overloaded the system too early in the lap, leaving drivers vulnerable at the end of straights, especially in DRS battles. Hamilton asked for a redistribution based on throttle progression and braking recovery points specific to his driving style. The engineers responded with a custom harvesting program just for Vegas. That means more usable deployment in key zones and more precise control during defensive phases. On a layout where battery use defines overtaking, Hamilton now has the tools to fight, not just defend. Even small components reflect the shift. The steering rack feel, adjusted to reduce corner entry noise under cold tire conditions. The rear brake duct shapes, fine-tuned for better temperature retention in nighttime stints. The ride height baseline, lowered to give Hamilton more response without destabilizing the platform under load. These details may seem microscopic, but they represent a philosophical change from adapting Lewis to the car to sculpting the car around Lewis. It's the difference between surviving a weekend and owning it. And here's what makes it powerful. Hamilton isn't demanding these changes out of frustration. He's pushing them through precision. Every adjustment comes with data. Every request comes with telemetry. He doesn't ask for feel, he asks for performance he can measure. That's why, heading into Las Vegas, the belief inside Ferrari is shifting. Not just in the SF25's potential, but in Hamilton's ability to unlock it. And if the numbers hold up, this could be the weekend where the car stops holding him back and starts following his lead. The Las Vegas circuit isn't just another new school street race. It's a technical challenge hidden behind showbiz lights and artificial glamour. Long straights, cold night temperatures, heavy braking zones, and low-grip asphalt, every element demands precision over aggression. And that's why, for once this season, Lewis Hamilton may have a structural advantage over his teammate Charles Leclerc. The SF25's current configuration after the post-Brazil reset finally aligns with Hamilton's driving language. And when that happens, he doesn't need to outmuscle the car. He just needs to let it breathe in rhythm. One of the clearest differences between the two drivers is how they manage corner entry. Leclerc is sharp and reactive. He attacks the apex with a car that rotates early, even if it compromises rear-end stability. That works well on traditional high-grip tracks. But in Las Vegas, it creates problems. The low-grip surface and unpredictable braking zones punish over-rotation. The more aggressive you are, the more you overheat the rears. Hamilton, on the other hand, brakes in a straight line longer, releases gently, and rotates progressively, a method that maintains tire life and cornering balance. On this circuit, that patience becomes an asset. Another key factor is tire preparation. Last year, Ferrari struggled in Las Vegas because they couldn't get the tires into the optimal window fast enough. That led to messy qualifying laps and slow first stints. Leclerc's style, which relies on immediate peak grip, suffered the most. But Hamilton's approach is different. He layers the tire phase. He builds the heat gradually and manages thermal stability over multiple laps. This trait, developed over years of championship racing in tricky conditions, gives him a clear edge in qualifying consistency and race stint longevity under cooler Vegas track temps. Battery deployment is also better suited to Hamilton's strengths here. With Ferrari adjusting ERS mapping to his throttle traces, Hamilton now has more flexibility on exits and during overtakes. Leclerc often drains the battery early in a lap to gain short-term position, but Hamilton distributes energy used based on car positioning and tire condition. On a circuit with long straights and late braking zones where DRS and recovery strategy are crucial, Hamilton's style becomes more efficient and race effective. He doesn't just deploy power, he times it. And in Vegas, timing is everything. Even mentally, Las Vegas offers Hamilton a kind of clarity. This isn't a home race for Ferrari. There's less external expectation, less red pressure. It's an unfamiliar venue that resets the board. That kind of mental reset favors drivers who adapt quickly, who read grip instinctively, who don't need 10 laps to tune into the asphalt. Hamilton's mental processing speed, his ability to recognize patterns in track evolution and balance shifts, gives him a sharper margin for improvisation. When the conditions change mid-session, it's often Lewis who finds the adjustment first. Most of all, this circuit allows Hamilton to express control not just over the car, but over the race itself. He thrives in stop-start layouts where you manage pace, position, and psychology all at once. With Ferrari now bringing a car that stops fighting him and starts enabling him, Las Vegas becomes something more than just another round. It becomes a proving ground, not for pace alone, but for harmony between driver and machine. And if Hamilton finds that harmony under the lights, even if it's just for one perfect Sunday, it could redefine what this season meant. If Las Vegas collapses for Hamilton, it won't just be another failed race. It will be a signal, a dangerous one. The kind that sends ripples across the paddock, through the media, and deep into Ferrari's own foundation. Because this weekend isn't just about points. It's about trust. Ferrari promised Lewis Hamilton a project built around excellence, around purpose, around one final push toward greatness. But if the SF-25 breaks down again, or if the strategy falters, or if execution fails when it matters most, then that promise starts to look like a myth. This isn't speculation. It's math. There are only 3 races left in the 2025 season. Lewis Hamilton has not stood on a single podium. That's not just rare, it's unprecedented. His worst year at Mercedes still delivered wins. Even in transition seasons, he adapted, extracted, and found glory. But now, as Vegas looms, the reality is brutal. If this weekend fails, there may not be enough track time left to salvage the legacy arc, 18 seasons of top-tier performance, consistent finishes, and historic moments at risk of being defined by silence. And what does that do to Ferrari? More than they're ready to admit. This was the year they were supposed to evolve. To go from raw potential to surgical precision. To use Hamilton's experience not just as a PR victory, but as a technical compass. If they cannot provide a stable, raceable car in a Grand Prix built for Hamilton's style, then it raises a bigger question. Do they truly know how to build around greatness? Or are they still chasing ghosts of what worked for others? Hamilton himself won't lash out. That's not his style. But his silence carries weight. Every time he walks out of the garage without answers, without celebration, the message gets louder. And inside Ferrari, that silence isn't misunderstood. It's feared, because Lewis has seen the best. He's worked with engineers who delivered week after week without drama. If this environment keeps letting him down, he won't explode. He'll detach. And that's even more dangerous for Ferrari's spirit and for the long-term momentum they hope to build. The media storm will be immediate. Critics who've been waiting all season to declare the Hamilton-Ferrari experiment a failure will light up. Articles will run with headlines like, "Was the move a mistake? Hamilton's last chapter or Ferrari's false dawn?" And worse, fans will start to believe them. Sponsors ask questions. Pressure intensifies. And even if Abu Dhabi offers a final shot, the damage done in Las Vegas might already frame the narrative not just for 2025, but for how this entire chapter is remembered.